Thank you for joining us, Indiana. This is Wealth in the Winner's Circle with Harley Shanklin and Dave Williams, financial advisors of the RDW Financial Group. I'm Spike Spangle. Gentlemen, how are you both doing this week?
Doing great, Spike.
Fantastic,
Thanks.
Spike. Glad to be here.
We're going to be talking about planning, what a financial plan means. I'm excited because I learned so much from the both of you. We're going to learn a little bit about the firm as well today. And I think one of the kicking off points that's kind of confusing for our viewers out there is you've got a 401k, an IRA, savings accounts. Is that a plan for retirement?
You know, Spike, that's a great question and a great place to start, because I think there's just a lot of confusion as to what is a retirement plan. You know, for so many of you out there, we go into retirement thinking that because we have a 401k, because we have an IRA, that's some sort of plan, and that's just not the case. It's more than an account statement. It's more than just a spreadsheet, and that's why at our firm, RDW Financial Group, we follow a process to help you out there build the retirement plan that's going to get you to the dreams of your retirement, and that starts with our retirement start planning process.
You sound very excited about it already. Dave?
It's like having a big pile of stuff, Spike. Think about this, or having an orchestra in front of you. You've got all of these musicians, you've got all these different sounds and things, but somebody needs to help somebody bring it together to take it from that individual sound to that beautiful sound of orchestra. And retirement planning is the same way. It's discovering what the client's needs are, what the client has, and then bring it together for the end result. That's what a financial plan is for.
I love this analogy. I'm going to stick with your orchestra here because it's kind of like having all of those different instruments and people playing them, but none of them have a sheet of music in front of them. They don't know what they're going to say. Everybody's blowing all different notes out there. So we got to bring that all together. And there's so many financial orchestras out there, right? Everybody's got all this stuff, but they don't know what to do with it. Harley, you were just about to start with it. You've got something. It's on the website that you can find as well. You go to RDW Financial Group and you can read it yourself right there. The S.T.A.R.T plan for retirement. What does that mean?
Yeah, so the S.T.A.R.T plan, it's really exactly what the word is. It starts your retirement, gets you on the right track. And that begins with secure income, making sure that you have your Social Security plan in place, a strategy to take it. If you are lucky enough to have a pension out there, how are you going to take it when it comes to planning for your retirement? Then we move on to the tax efficiency, making sure that you're not going to pay our favorite Aunt Iris or the IRS more than her fair share out there. That's just not what we want to do. From there, we just move on to the advanced planning, and that's where we're making sure that your estate plan is being taken care of, that when that one of two guarantees, death and taxes, comes into play, that your estate is passing to your heirs in the way that you want. Risk management is all about the risk to your life, health, and investments, making sure that you're not taking too much, but you're not taking too little. And we bring that all together with the tailored investment strategy, where, to continue with the orchestra analogy, to make sure that all of your investments are working in concert with the rest of your plan.
Dave, I'll ask you as well. So if you've got 9 trumpets and 1 tuba, do you have a complete orchestra? No. You see a lot of times where we've got the same kind of repeat tools, but not enough variety.
Yeah, what you have is an overbalanced brass section right there. So, yeah, I mean, the reality is this. People do a wonderful job hearing the word accumulate and bring all these pieces together during retirement. But as they approach, they're fearful. I mean, it never ceases to amaze me how fearful people are trying to hear the word plan. It's like, don't expose me. I'm not sure I want to see where I'm faults are at. But that's not what the case is at all. It's like you have to bring the items together. So, as your analogy, you got 5 trumpets and 1 bassoon or 1 tuba. You need some trombones, okay? And don't get rid of the trumpets, but balance them out with other things that make sense. And that is really what the S.T.A.R.T plan does. It helps people see the clarity of just those maybe few pieces that are missing. And then how can we bring it all together to create a beautiful sound called retirement.
Yeah. I want to play and kind of let our audience know wealth in the winner's circle here. So what are we alluding to here around the Indianapolis area?
So for us, it's all about racing, Spike. At the beginning of our firm, that's what brought Dave to Indianapolis, and ultimately that's what brought me to Indianapolis, where we were both fortunate enough to meet our wives, and I'm proud to say that we're a family-owned and operated firm. Dave is my father-in-law. I'm not saying that's how I got the job.
What? I knew that. I knew there were family connections somehow, but it goes beyond, huh?
It goes beyond that, yes. And so through the race, it brought us all here and planted our roots here in the crossroads of America. And that's really what it's all about, is family for us, whether it's our actual families at home or all of our client family out there.
Yeah. Dave, as you've grown the business here and as now we're transitioning to bring more financial advisors, of course you're going to take care of the folks who you always have, but now we're expanding. When folks come in, they're going to be meeting with our newer advisors here. Have you seen a lot of change in the industry in your 20, 25 years you've been here?
You know, when I first started back in the early 2000s, 1999 to be exact, nobody, I shouldn't say nobody, the majority of people weren't even talking about retirement planning. I'm a boomer, and I knew that eventually, even though I didn't want to admit to it, I was going to have to reach that point also. So yes, I mean, products back then were really growth-oriented. There was bond ladders, there was stocks and equities. Some of the annuity products are out today didn't even exist back then. They were still developing. So I've seen a tremendous change in the industry over the years. The one thing I'm also proud to say that's changed over the years is the emphasis on, you know, the fiduciary responsibility of a full-blown financial planning firm. That's really what we aim to do. And you know, when you ask me about the next generation and moving on, I'm very pleased with where we're at. When I started the business, my number one goal was to take care of people. And I always joked with them, I said, I want to provide you sleep. If you're not sleeping at night, we are not doing our job. And we have accomplished that over years by giving them peace of mind and walking through all the ups and downs we've seen since 2000. You know, we had the 9/11 crisis, we had the housing and financial crisis, we had the pandemic, and you know, this year we have a lot of unique things going on in the market. So we don't want our clients to worry about that. We want to take the time and build it. And I'm happy to say that the next generation is doing a phenomenal job. They bring tools to the table that I could even dreamed about maybe 20 years ago.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we're going to talk about when we get back, if you don't mind, guys. What we're offering to you right now is that you can call the phone number down on the bottom of the screen, and let's get you started on your own complimentary written financial plan from the team here at RDW Financial Group. Call that phone number or scan that QR code. I know you've got your smartphone in your hand. Open it up to the camera function, point it at this QR code, and click on it. It'll take you over to our landing page. You can schedule your own appointment right there. What does the complimentary financial plan mean? More about that when we get right back after this.
As a good saver, you've been putting away money during your working years. Studies find that the biggest fear of retirees is running out of money. Market volatility isn't just the downward movement of stock prices, it's the size and frequency of change. The more dramatic the ups and downs, the higher the volatility. This can put savers who are newly retired or a few years away from being retired at greater risk. Today's generation of retirees is not receiving traditional pensions as our parents or grandparents did. Instead, we have retirement accounts such as 401ks or 403bs. These accounts typically expose your money to market risk. The last thing you want right before retirement is to lose a portion of the money you need for income. But how do you turn these accounts into a retirement income? Is it safe to keep all your retirement money sitting in the stock market? The last thing you want is to lose a portion of the money you need for income due to market loss. By working with a financial professional, you can learn how to turn a portion of your savings into an income stream for life and income for the life of your spouse if you're married. We all have moments in our lives when we wish we had taken action sooner. Don't let procrastination reign on your retirement parade. Act now before it's too late. Please call our office to set up your no-cost, no-obligation retirement income review today.
Welcome back to Wealth in the Winner's Circle with Harley Shanklin and Dave Williams of the RDW Financial Group. Today, we're kind of describing exactly what the S.T.A.R.T program is when it comes to financial planning. What pieces would actually go into this program for you? Let's start with you again, Harley.
Yeah, so Spike, for our retirement planning, for everyone's retirement planning out there, it really starts with the income piece of it. Making sure that we have enough income coming in to keep the lights on, because that's what all of us out there are worried about every day is, do we have enough income coming in so we can keep the refrigerator full, so we can keep those lights on, keep gas in your car? Part of that is making sure that you have a Social Security strategy, that you know what your options are and what may be best. Because unfortunately, Spike, no one's out there at Social Security giving anyone advice on that. We also want to make sure, as we talked about in the previous segment, that we have a tax plan, an efficient plan that looks at taxes so you can have an efficient way to withdraw money and supplement your retirement with all that savings that you've done over the years. From there, we want to make sure that we also have an estate plan in there and our investment plan that, once again, is working in concert with all those other areas of your retirement needs to make sure that you don't run out of money, which is everyone's number one fear, and to make sure that we can do all the things that we want to do in retirement.
I think when a lot of viewers hear the phrase financial advisor or financial representative or coach, they're thinking of somebody, oh, that's my investments. You just rattled off 5 or 6 other things. Dave, how do you handle things like the tax strategies, having healthcare discussions? I mean, I know there's 2 of you here. I know there's a bunch more back at the offices. But are these things that you take care of in office, or do we work with professionals? Do you have a network of folks?
Yes and yes.
Okay, good.
It's a great question. So in our office, we do have a tax person that does and works with us on tax questions and questionnaires. But in the planning process, we also have software that takes the current tax code, though we don't know what future tax code, it will actually project out the efficiencies of withdrawals for various different, quote, buckets of money. We use that. We utilize, we have relationships with attorneys for estate planning processes. We bring them in, and part of the things we do as a firm is we're real big on educating our clients. So it starts with the plan, but we take it to the next level because they're going to have questions. So monthly, we have these education events. We talk about Social Security, Medicare, cybersecurity, estate planning, taxes. So we try to educate and bring it down to a level where the client can engage with us and understand what we're doing and how it affects them. And it gives them the opportunity to ask realistic questions that we can probably help them solve.
I learned about the cybersecurity myself. I went to your website, so I went to rdwfinancial.com, and I saw that you've got a cybersecurity on there. This is so important today because there is interaction between your banks and your phones, but you find out about the new scams all the time. You know, somebody sends you a text and you accidentally click on a link. These things are so important, and it's wonderful to know that your financial advisory team is looking out for that. Harley, I'll go with you. So how many people, when they actually come into your office, actually think that they already have a plan?
Well, most people that come in do think they have some sort of a plan or some semblance of it, and it's because they have a 401k. For those of you out there who have been contributing like you were told to do to your 401k, to your IRA, many times, Spike, we just assume that's the plan. Is we're going to save up all this money, and then when we get to retirement, you're just going to start to draw it out. But when we don't include all of the other pieces that we just mentioned, whether it's your taxes, your healthcare planning, your estate planning, all of those things we have to put together. We have to put all those pieces together. It reminds me of a Johnny Cash. I'm a big Johnny Cash fan. I don't know if anyone else out there is a Johnny Cash fan, but that song, One Piece at a Time, where he's building this car over many, many years with different pieces from different cars to slap something together. And the question is how efficient is that if you don't have some sort of plan or process to put all that together? Because unfortunately, Google isn't going to do it for you.
Yeah, and that's what scares me today, is that there is a lot of information, and it is all out there on the interweb, and of course, none of it's ever wrong. Right?
Yeah.
Looking for that information. So, Dave, and maybe you guys can do this one together. So, when folks do call the phone number and they come in, we're saying, look, you're going to get your complimentary written financial plan. We're going to do this portfolio review. What does that really mean? Is that a 5-minute conversation, kicking the tires, so to speak, and or are there comprehensive parts to it? Are there reports? Is there a second and a follow-up? What goes on when somebody does reach out and come into the office?
Yeah, so Spike, Rome wasn't built in a day. These things take time, and when it comes to retirement, you only get one shot at it out there. You don't get to retire twice. So we want to make sure we get it right the first time. That's why we want to include in there a retirement plan, an income plan, a Social Security maximization plan as to when you're going to take it, a tax methodology and strategy that isn't just looking in the rearview mirror. All of you out there file your 1040 every year. You're just giving yourselves a history lesson on what happened the previous year. We want to take that a step further and strategically look out into the future for all of you to make sure that while you're paying your fair share, that you're not paying too much, because the IRS isn't going to send you a letter for that. And then we also look at the investment side of it, do a risk analysis, make sure that your investments are in alignment with everything that you want to do in retirement. Not your neighbor, not your brother-in-law, but your retirement.
So we're broadcasting all around the area here. Maybe you can give us a little idea. Where's the home office? I know we've got a secondary office. Of course, you can do appointments over the phone if you want to, but people usually like to come in, sit on the couch and so forth. Where are you at?
So our home office is located on the west side of Indianapolis at the intersection of 10th and 465. Beautiful four-story metallic building. Can't miss it. Look for the RDW Financial on the side. We have a satellite office up in the Fishers area, which is also on the north side of our town up there. And we can schedule and do schedule appointments up there for the people that live on the outer edges of Indianapolis.
Right. And then Harley, like you were saying, Rome wasn't built in a day. Sometimes it's one meeting, maybe even a second meeting, maybe even more after that. Is there an entry-level cost of coming in for any of these appointments?
No. Put your checkbook away, folks. There is no cost to come in and have a conversation. And that's really what that first appointment is about, is sitting down together and having the opportunity in a safe place to ask the questions that are on your mind out there, because we all have questions. From there, we get to know each other a little bit. We'll gather a little bit of information. Then we'll schedule a follow-on appointment where we'll sit back down and go through our analysis, all these pieces that we've talked about, and show you exactly what a relationship with RDW Financial Group would look like in a transparent way. And Spike, I think that's important. In today's day and age, we mentioned cybersecurity. Your information is important to us. It's valuable, and we want to make sure that we're being good stewards of that. After that second meeting, we'll then move on to a third meeting if we all agree that it makes sense to work together. But up to that point, all we're doing is just investing a little bit of time together to make sure that it's a good fit and that what we're suggesting makes sense to you.
You've been saving for years. In fact, you've been saving for decades. And let's make sure you don't crash your retirement on that final turn. Call the phone number you see down here right now, and we'll get you started on your own complimentary written financial plan. There's no cost to come in and sit down with the team. Or if you want to, it's really simple. Open up your smartphone to the camera function, point it at this QR code, and click on it. It'll take you right over to their landing page. You can schedule your own appointment there right now. More wealth in the winner's circle when we get back right after this.
Good morning, Ben.
Good morning, Ben. Hey, birthday party for Carol and 5. Happy birthday to you.
Good morning, Ben. Happy Monday.
Daryl's birthday, be there, be square. Happy birthday to you. As you can see from our quarterly report on slide number 62, we're trending in the right direction. All signs point to a very positive outlook for the next several years. If you peel back the onion...
Ben, do you have anything to add?
The work never seems to end until the day it finally does. Call today to get your free written financial plan so you may live every day to the fullest and enjoy the retirement of your dreams.
Welcome back to Wealth in the Winner's Circle with Harley Shanklin and Dave Williams of the RDW Financial Group. I'm Spike Spangle, and we're getting to know you guys today, what wealth in the winner's circle means. Of course, we're doing a little wordplay here around the Indianapolis area. We love the racing. It's how you both met your wives. It's how you met one of the financial advisors, your son-in-law, here in the office, and you're growing and expanding, and we want to make sure we take it to the next level. Had a wonderful conversation with you over a cup of coffee, though, and you said, well, first of all, you had 20 years of a different career before you even came here, and you were saying what was kind of lacking in the industry, what was lacking from the information from your 401k, and why being independent was so important to you.
Yeah, looking back, when I was in the other career, we bring the 401k providers in there, and they put the old park it and set it and forget it, Ronco appropriate way of doing things, and it just didn't work for me. But the more detailed advice that we've been talking about, how to get that plan, how to go to the next level, what to do. When I started the company, I had a choice. I could either be independent or I could go work for another company. I have always been of the opinion my entire life that there is not one company that has the best solution for all people. And there's great companies out there, don't get us wrong, and we use them, but I wanted to have the ability and the opportunity to meet with the clients, understand what their needs are, and then go out and select the proper and appropriate products that met their needs. That's what being independent has, and it has not failed me for the last 25 plus years. We have seen changes in the industry with products, development with technology. But the reality is when you're doing an income plan, and Harley talked to our START process, we have to have access to all these various different tools. I mean, when you go to the mechanic at the shop, the car mechanic, you want to make sure he just doesn't have one little Craftsman box there. You want to see the big toolbox, because if it needs diagnostic, you want to make sure he's well equipped. We're no different. And that is also, if you will, being a good fiduciary. We're looking out for the client's best interest, what is right for that client. Nor is it a necessary right answer for all clients. And again, that's why I went independent. I wanted to make sure that I had a plethora of objects and tools available to us as we worked with clients to make sure they had a really satisfying, fruitful, and productive retirement.
Maybe you guys can give me yes or no on this. The tools that are in your guys' financial garage. This includes investment management for folks?
Yes.
Yes.
Tax mitigation strategies?
Yes.
Do you use annuities or even life insurance tools?
Yes and yes.
Okay. Estate planning conversations?
Absolutely.
Yep. Healthcare conversations,
Yes.
Medicare and so on, long-term care?
On that note, real quick, that's one of the biggest issues we have to deal with today. We all know healthcare costs are soaring. But you get a 60-year-old that walks through the door and says, I want to retire next week, and the very first question is, tell me about your healthcare. Because they're not aware of the cost of health care for a private individual until they hit that mythical, magical age of 65 for Medicare.
Yeah. No, and that's a big gap, and sometimes that can be $1,800 a person
huge.
Per month. Yep. So yes, retiring early. I think that's something in another show I'd like to dive into. Can we still retire early? How much do we need for that? Are there numbers based on that? Does it depend on our spending? It's all different kinds of variables, and I think that's one of the messages we'd like for the audience to know is that we can talk in general about a lot of different strategies, but every single one of you out there is different. You've had different jobs, different careers, you have different risk tolerances. So sitting down and tailoring it, that's what I wanted to ask you, Harley. Are these kind of cookie cutter then solutions? So somebody comes in, they get plugged into a program?
Absolutely not, Spike. Absolutely not. For everybody that comes in, while we have a standardized process that we take everybody through, what comes out of that is completely different for everybody. So for those of you out there watching, your plan is going to be your plan, custom fit and designed for you and the retirement that you want to live, not for anybody else, because at the end of the day, our lives are all different. And more importantly with that, or to go along with it rather, is our lives are dynamic. Everything changes. There's marriages, births, deaths, all these things, and we want to make sure that your tailored retirement plan is not only built for you, but is built for those things that are going to come along as we continue on through this race of life that we call.
I'm going to build on that word continue. I pulled off a sentence off your website. It said something about you do life with your clients. What does that mean? Is this, are we talking about products? Are we talking about process? What does that mean to you guys?
So doing life with our clients, you know, as a family-owned firm, we know how important family is out there. And we do everything we can to strive every day to ensure that our clients feel as if they're a part of our family, because that's how we view them. So when it comes to things like marriages, births, deaths, oftentimes we're the first people that our clients call when those come up because of the relationships that we have built with them through time. And when someone becomes a client, it's not just about coming in for your one annual meeting. We do more than that. We schedule ongoing social events so you can have a chance to get out of the house and try some of the wonderful things that we have in this city, whether it's going to Top Golf up on the north side or it's going to one of the races. All these things, we want to do it with you. We want to do it with our clients because we care about them. We want to have that relationship.
You know, something I'm sure you hear a lot, either at the live events, people come in, they talk to you or call you over the phone and say, hey, I've got a guy and they do this. Or I've got a gal. I've got somebody who does my tax. I've got somebody who's going to help me out with this. Is there any harm in a second opinion? Do you have anybody who's come in for a second opinion who maybe you've been able to give them a different perspective?
Absolutely. I mean, the majority of people come in are looking for help and they're scared, okay? My comment has always been this. It's like we will strive to give you an honest and thoughtful second opinion. I'll even go out on a limb and say this. I've told people, listen, if you come in and you say you already have a plan, and it is a really good and functional plan, we will be the first ones to tell you. Don't change it, don't mess it up, don't screw it up, because that's not what we're about. But if they come in and we see a plan, and the majority of folks are like this, we can tweak it. You know, it's not wholesale replacement. People are afraid you're going to tell them, sell the house, get rid of this, do that. I don't want to do. That's not what we're about. We're like, how can we take what you have, improve upon it, and make it better?
Yeah.
And you know, and as Harley talks about doing life, I just want to add something to that, you know, life to us means, and I've told every client that I sometimes get chastised for this, but I tell every client that sits down, listen, I would always want a death do us part relationship. Hopefully you first, but that's the way, and I mean that from the bottom of our heart. Unfortunately, the last couple of weeks, I've had to attend some funerals. While we miss the person, there is no greater honor to our firm and to myself knowing that I can come alongside that widower, put my arm around them and say, you know, Bill's going to be really missed. He was a wonderful person, but here's the good news. He provided for you. You allowed us to come along and help you, and now, as we go through the rest of the journey in life, we're going to be here for you. You don't have to worry about things financially. We're here to assist you. And when they look at you in your eye and give you that thank you, Spike, there's no greater reward to me in the world than that.
And Dave, I completely believe you. Harley, thank you as well for today's program. Folks, you can call the phone number down on the bottom of the screen and get started on your own portfolio review and your written financial plan from the team here of RDW Financial Group. Thank you so much for watching. Call that phone number, schedule your appointment. We'll be back again next week.